This is the necrotic tissue, okay? Then these are the inflammatory cells, yung purplish one. So under high power field na tayo, di mo na siya further higher magnification. Pero I think meron naman tayong slide doon na pwede nyo pang makita. So, saan malagaras usually ang coagulative necrosis natin? Usually yung mga ischemia, di ba? So, the blood supply was impinged or there's obstruction of your blood supply. So, nagkakaroon ng infarct. Then, eventually, the tissue will necrotize. So, the bacteria will just be secondary, it will become gangrenous or wet necrosis if there's overwhelming infection or inflammation in that type of necrosis. Okay? So, let me borrow this. Another type of necrosis shown here is your caseous and non-caseous necrosis. So, when you see caseous and non-caseous necrosis, usually it arises in one scenario. Probably what type of infectious process will give you this caseous and non-caseous granulomas. Tuberculous infection. So ito yung makita nyo rin. Okay. It's the Langhans type multinucleated giant cells. So you have a central cacheating necrosis. So ang cacheation siya kasi on the gross appearance of that, para siyang caseous cheesy material. Pag kinat mo siya, tumalabas yung caseous material. Okay? So, surrounding it are inflammatory cells. Ito, mga maliliit, are in lymphocytes and neutrophils. And what's striking here is this one. This is your multinucleated giant cell or macrophages. The name is Langhans type giant cell. So kung makakita kami nga, especially dito Philippine setting, any tuberculous infection will present kasi as mass. Para rin siyang bukol kasi nagka-granuloma. Your immunity is trying to contain the tuberculous bacilli. Diba? It's a different bacteria, it's mycobacteria. So, you review microbiology, it's not the usual bacteria gram-positive or gram-negative. That's when you administer antibiotic, it can, for 7 days, then the infection will die down. But in mycobacterial infection, you need a good immunity aside from your anti-mycobacterial agents. So, very classic of tuberculous infection, caseous and non-caseous granuloma. Pag non-caseous naman, meaning wala lang siyang cheesy material, meaning fibrotic na. Kaya makita nyo sa mga patients with, diba, healed na daw sila for tuberculous infection, scar tissue na, kasi nag-fibrose na yung dating caseous granuloma niya, naging non-cacheating na, fibrotic na yung center portion. Okay? Question? Sorry, nastiklik kasi ako kaya hindi ako makahanti mo. Next. So, you have fat necrosis. Balik ko na lang kasi may another session pa. So, ano ba yung tsura ng adipose tissue? The normal adipose tissue. Diba parang clear lang siya? Nasa gilid lang yung nucleus mo. Nawala na yung nucleus mo. Diba? Ito yung mga individual mong adipocytes or fat Dapat may nucleus ka sa periphery, pero nawala. At napalitan na siya, nag-disintegrate na, napalitan na siya ng eosinophilic, parang pinkish material. Mapapansin nyo, pag necrosis ang isang tissue, it's already, usually nawala na yung nucleus, di ba? In the process of necrosis, nagkakaroon tayo ng karyorrhexis and karyolysis, di ba? Nag-disintegrate and eventually magla-lyse yung nucleus mo. So nawawala yung kulay blue. Bakit ba siya kulay blue? So we go back to the science, the logic behind the stain that we use in tissues. Sino mga medic dito? Anong ginagamit na stain for histopath? HNE stands for hematoxylin and eosin. So, for the non-medtech, so let me introduce this concept. Hematoxylin, so it's a combination of two stains, okay? Hematoxylin and eosin stain. So, hematoxylin is a basic dye, DYE, basic stain. While eosin is acidic stain or dye. So, the tissue, we stain the cells. Okay? Cells comprises the tissue. So, individual cells, ano ba ang mga nandun sa isang cell? Mga organelles such as nucleus, and in the cytoplasm, may iba pang organelle. So, yung individual organelle, it's electronic, even the microscopic na ordinary, hindi natin nakikita. So we just stain the nucleus and the cytoplasm. That's the two organelle na stain ng H and E, which is hematoxylin and eosin. The hematoxylin will stain what? What part of among the two? Hematoxylin, again, it's a basic stain. It will stain your nucleus. Why? It contains what? Nucleic acid. Tama? Basic, di ba? Basic concept. Acid, basic will attract, di ba? So, magkakaroon siya ng complexes forming the stain. So, yun yung stain. May stain ng blue dye na hematoxylin, kaya yung nucleus nyo will appear as blue or violet. Okay, while your cytoplasm is pinkish because it's more basic, because it's amphiphilic or slightly basic because of your proteins and lipids. So it's more, the eosin is an acid stain. It will stain the basic component. Okay, so that's the basis of the stain. So kaya pag nakita nyo na necrosis na wala ng bluish, meaning nag-disintegrate, karyorrhexis, karyolysis na yung nucleus, so may titira lang yung cytoplasm. Eventually, the cytoplasm will later disintegrate. Kaya parang ang itsura niya under the microscope, it's like eosinophilic and granular para siya. Wala na, non-viable na yung tissues. Okay, so that's the basic concept in the HNE and necrosis. Kaya bakit ganyan yung itsura nila? Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, kulay pink na sila. Okay. Sorry. Ito, okay, same lang yung paagi natin. So we're done with the rundown with the necrosis. We go to the neoplasia. So, itong stage slide, sorry. Papunta na ako ng mga, patanggal na muna ako. Kasi na-picturean ko naman, para discuss ko, lahat makakita. So, you have squamous atrophy. Ano ba ang atrophy? Anong definition ng atrophy? Size. So, hypoplasia. Number, decrease in number. So, obviously, this is a combination of your atrophy and hypoplasia. Pero with class, hindi kami naglalagay ng hypoplasia sa diagnose namin. This is more of a squamous atrophy. Ito kasi, cervix siya ng 65-year-old female. So, again, part of growing old is nag-atrophy yung mga tissues mo or yung organs mo. So, imagine here, this is your, anong lining yung cervix nyo or rectocervix? Stratified squamous non-keratinizing epithelium. Ecto labas. So, this is your basement membrane. This is the topmost portion. So, from basement membrane, para lang din siyang skin. Kakount mo lang yung cells niya. So, it's around 20. Ganyan kakapal. Then, pagtingin mo dito, ano pansin nyo? Lumipis. So, nagkaroon ng atrophy. So, around 5 cell thick na lang yung squamous mo dito. And eventually, nag-hypoplasia din siya kasi nag-decrease din yung number and the size. Okay? So, yan. This is a classic example of your atrophy. Question? Okay. Next is your another form of adaptive change. Ito kasi medyo hindi siya ma-appreciate dito. So again, sa cervix to, di ba, in the cervix you have endo and ecto. Tama? Endo and ecto cervix. And the junction between them, we're in the transition zone na tinatawag. Transition niya kasi magbabayad na sila ng tissue. So, from endo, ang lining ng endo cervix is what? Review your histology. Simple columnar. So, this is your simple columnar. Patayo yan. Kung makita niyo dyan, mas maganda yung simple columnar. Then, ectocervix, nabanggit ko kanina, is stratified squamous keratinizing epithelium. So, dito, itong kahabaan na to, dapat endocervix pa lang siya. Dapat simple columnar. Pero napalitan siya, may area dito na napalitan siya ng squamous agad. So, meaning, there's what? Metaplasia, very good. You have changes from one mature tissue into another mature tissue. So, it's still reversible changes, di ba? Meaning, pag reversible, pwede siyang bumalik. Di ba kasi adaptive change? Kunyari, there's an insult, constant friction, since this is an endocervix, during intercourse, na-wrap off talaga siya. Kaya, umilipis, nagiging napapalitan ng squamous. That's adaptive change. Okay? So, in the endocervix or the squamotransitional squamo-columnar junction, very common yung squamous metaplasia. So, this part is the squamous metaplasia. Ito yung normal mo dapat, simple columnar na pag nagkaroon ka ng metaplasia here. Okay. Question? Clear naman ba? Okay.